Welcome again. Today's webinar is Resonline Basics. We're going through the booking button, the basics overview, a little bit on marketing tools and specials, promotions and extras, and the booking questions. There is a lot to get through today, so it will be time-sensitive things. So if I can't get to everything, I will be doing a follow-up webinar on those things. So basically today is just setting up your booking button and doing a booking through there. So we may not get to the marketing tools, but I'll show you where that is, and we'll do a further webinar for that. My name is Karina. I do most of the webinar training for Resonline, and yeah, let's get started. So this is my test console. I've got quite a good one here, Great Escape. You all will be familiar with this homepage. It's got your property name here, and also up in the corner you'll also find your property ID here, as well as your property ID and property details at the top here. If you're ever calling support for anything really, you can give us the property ID. And if that's given to us, it makes it easier to find the console. So that property ID is usually what we'll ask for on phone calls. And again, if you send that through on an email, it makes it just that much easier for us to find you. Okay, so let's go to where we need to be. So we'll go back to the home page. What we're looking at today is we're looking at the booking button, which is this area here. We'll also be in property details for setup, and I'll also show you a little bit of rooms and rates. These here are your marketing tools. We may not get to them today, but I'll show the basics of them, and then there'll be a further webinar for those. Okay, so let's go to the booking button. So we'll just click onto the booking button here. Now there's this section is actually split into two. So you've got your standalone booking page, which is over the corner here on the left-hand side, and you've also got your integrated booking. Your integrated booking engine or button is a full-on gadget that you integrate into your website. That means that you have full flexibility in that particular area, and all of the documentation is in here. If you just click on there, it opens up a new tab and you can see all of that detail there. Okay, if you then want room type gadget documentation, that's all in there as well. It's probably going to look like Swahili to most of you. Your web developer will understand all of that. You just need to give them the credentials to get into your console to come in here and grab all of this information. What we're going to focus on is the standalone link, which is this one here. This is just a link that you put onto your website if you wanted an easier version for the moment, or you're redoing your website. This will then open up a page, which is a live page, but only live when you're looking at it from a customer's perspective. So it's only going to be live when it's attached to a website. Now what it'll do is it'll take the guest over to our domain, and then you can actually send them back to your own URL or a particular page on your website when you're done. So let's go back to here. Now this is a booking button sample. Okay, so this is an area where it is live, but it's only viewable for the person that's actually in the console. So you could do phone bookings through here. You could also do test bookings. Okay, so down the bottom here, again, like I said, it's split down the middle. Here are your booking button defaults. Now you can change quite a bit just on the standalone gadget. So let's go through a little bit of what you can do. As you can probably see, that yellow color in the background is not very pleasant. So let's go and change that. So that's the background color here. Now you'll notice here that this is blue, but on this one it's orange. Okay, that changes to match whatever the background color that you've chosen. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go back and we'll change that. So we go to background color and just press on this little dude here, and I think I want it to be a little bit greener. So let's go and change this. Now that's pretty bright. I don't want it that bright, so I'm just going to take that down a little bit. That looks a bit better. Okay, now that's still not what I really want because of this logo here, so I'm just going to change that. Let's move that up a little bit more. You can do this as many times as you like. and that's a little bit dark, so we'll go into a lighter shade of that. That looks a bit better, so I'll save that. But before I save that, I want to change my logo as well, and that's what's here. So let's go ahead and change that as well. Choose Files, go into Pictures, and then you can pick your picture from here. I'm actually on a borrowed computer, so I don't have my logos set up. But we could go in and we could do one really quickly if need be, but that's where you would choose it. So at the moment that one works for me, so I'm not going to worry about it, but you can choose your logo from there. There's a couple of other things that you can do in this area, but first I want to show you the change on that button. So let's just go in and see if it's updated itself. It will take about 5 minutes to come through, so we'll come back to it and see when it's changed. So now if we go back down to the bottom here, see I've got Promote Specials on. You can change this to no or yes. If you have it on yes, all of the specials that you make, whether they're promotions or specials, will rise to the top of the grid. So you'll be able to see them, the customer will actually be able to see them up the top of the grid as opposed to being mixed all the way through. You've also got a return URL, so if you've got a particular page that you want to return the guest to once they've made their booking, you can put that in there and it will, as soon as they get their confirmation letter, it will redirect them back to your website. Stay by days, that's completely up to you. We put no on there, that's fine. Okay. You've also got your default for your grid columns, so that's your defaults for your adults. That will always come up as 2 if it's selected as 2. If it's selected as 1, it'll automatically come up as 1. You've also got your grid columns. I've got 14 days here, which is usually what is most preferable. You could change that to 7 or anything. Okay. You've also got children, which I've got default of 0. You could put in 2 adults and 2 children if that's what you usually get. You can also put in your maximums, so you can change the maximum of people available, so that's good for boarding houses or backpackers. You can do that as well. So that's my maximums. I could probably put that down because I'm only a B&B. I could put that down to a maximum of 5, a maximum of 2 if I wanted to. Images, you can change how many images you want to have shown. And your accommodation type. So for example, if you didn't have rooms, you had suites, you can change this. So if I want to change this back to rooms, that's my grid label. And you could put your accommodation type in here. It's a free-form field. Then if I just go to save, it will eventually change that to rooms for you. Okay. You've also got your confirmation page, guest details payment page, and your standalone for Google Analytics. And that's pretty much the setup. It's pretty easy. So now that we've set up the button itself to what we want it to show, now we need to set up the details. So that's back on the home page and go back to property details. From property details, you've got your address, your descriptions, your images, your features, Resonline fees, payment options, and booking policies. That's where we're going to be. We're going to be in both of these. So let's go to payment options first. Note that this will allow money to be collected for future bookings placed on your website. Okay, so there's 2 options to begin with. One, no payment details will be collected. All bookings will be successful without payment. And the second one is I will collect payment manually. We strongly recommend that you use this one as a property protection. It means that any bookings that you receive must have a credit card or some form of payment. They will not be able to pass go until they've filled in that detail. If you have it as the first option, no payment details will be collected, the system won't ask. It'll just take the booking. So just be really careful with that. Make sure that it's I will collect a payment manually if you want to guarantee all of your bookings through some sort of payment. Electronic gateways are just like an EFTPOS machine that you have on your desk for a merchant facility. It makes life a little bit easier. If you have for example, Secure Pay set up, then when the guest is ready to pay and they've put in all of their details, they press Book Now, and it will take them to Secure Pay, and Secure Pay will deal with the payment. They will then send you an email saying that you've got a deposit, and then you can go and grab it. Okay, eNet is fairly similar. If you're using any of these other online payment providers, some will take the guest to a website, others you just click on it and get in contact with them. They're all different. Depending on which one you use, you'll be able to find out from the company itself. These are your accepted credit cards. So you've got the following cards, which is American Express, obviously, Diners, JCB, which is a credit card in Japan. It's not really used here in Australia, but if you've got a lot of Japanese clientele, you probably will need to add that one in. And then you've got your MasterCard and your Visa. So I've got Visa already ticked. I'm going to tick on MasterCard as well because I do take that. I'm going to put surcharges on here. So what we'll do is we'll put a 1.5 on Visa, 1.5%. You can change this to a fixed dollar amount if you wish. And then I'm also going to put a 2% on MasterCard just because I feel like it. Now here is additional taxes and charges. You could put a bond on here if you wanted to, or a VAT if you're out of the country. Again, this is just for your own website and it will come up as an additional charge on there. And you could do bond if you wanted to, you could do a percentage either way, and that's to add a new charge. Okay. So we'll delete those because I don't need them, and I'll save changes on this one, which is this button over the corner here. Now what I'll also do is I'll add PayPal as an option. I need to have a username to do that. Okay, so I need to actually have an account before it'll show up on the booking gadget. So that's all saved. So we'll go on to booking policies now. Now your booking policies are a little bit different. This again is for your website only, and you'll see that here. The following policies are apply to your website booking button or gadget only. I require a deposit. I recommend strongly that you at least take a deposit upon booking so that you can then activate any of your cancellation policies, amendment fees, that kind of thing. If you don't take the money first, it's very hard to charge it later. So what we'll do is we'll do a 50% deposit. You could make this $50 or one night if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. Usually about 50, either 25 or 50% is commonplace in the industry. This deposit is due at time of booking, or you can select particular days. I recommend at time of booking. Full payment is due on arrival. Okay. You could also have that full payment is due a couple of days before arrival, but there is nowhere in the system to remind you to take that. So you need to be careful to make sure that you do take payments when you tell the client you're scheduling it. Check-in and check-out policies. The guest must place their booking at least 1 hour before check-in closes. That can be up to $23.59 or 24 hours, but again it only relates to your own booking gadget. If you don't want same-day bookings, you're going to need to make sure all of your other channels can do that, and it will need to be set up on there. But you can do it from here just for this gadget. These are your check-in and check-out times. If I was to change that to, for example, 10 a.m. to 10:30. If I was to go and make a booking now, I wouldn't be able to. It would come up sold because they need an hour before that check-in closes, and we're past 11:30 already. Okay, so let's do that. So I'll just put in 10. Actually, I'll make that 9 so that we definitely covered it, and we'll make that 10. Now here is your cancellation amendment rules. These will pop up here into your booking conditions. I've also put that I've got another booking condition. I don't accept parties, so no schoolies or anything along those lines, and I don't accept pets. This will come up on the payment page for the guest as well as all of these. Okay, so they will be able to see that before they press book now. You can also set up a booking question if you're really concerned, which says, have you read our booking conditions or have you read our terms and conditions? That will then, you set it up as a mandatory answer, and the answer being yes. And then that way you've got that little bit of background. It's almost like an electronic signature. It just informs you that they've read it, just in case anything happens. Now we've also got our cancelled up to. I've put 3 days before arrival. It's a one night of the total amount will be forfeited. If it's cancelled up to 14 days, they lose the deposit, so that's 50% of the deposit or total amount. It's completely up to you. I've got 50% of the deposit, so it's 50% of whatever I'm taking. So it's basically 25% of the booking. I've then got cancelled greater than 14 days, 10%. So I'll take 10% of the deposit they've already paid me. Because I took it at the time of booking, I have that money and I have that option to, or I have that ability to be able to do that. So now we'll go down to amendment fees. Now, a lot of people don't use this. I strongly recommend that you do, just simply because people change their dates and some people do it constantly. And there is amendment fees and things like that you've got to take into consideration, because there are administration things that you do when someone changes their booking. So normally it's not as strict as your cancellations, but you could put that if it was amended up to 14 days prior to arrival, they pay $50 or they pay $10 for the change. You can add these just by pressing that, and you can also delete them. Okay. So we'll save changes again, just in case I made any changes there. And now we'll go back to the rooms type gadgets. So let's go back. I'll just get rid of that tab and we'll go back to the booking button or the booking gadget, which is here. And we'll make a booking. How about that? We'll make a booking from the home page. So we've come into the sample here. Again, this is completely free and available to you. If you get phone bookings, either go directly to your website and make the booking there, or you can come into your console and into the booking button sample and make the booking there. It just makes it so much easier to track your bookings. So phone bookings you're not putting into a book, you're actually putting them through the system, and that's actually taking them and putting them into the same pipeline that everything else goes into. The guest gets, the bonuses are the guest gets a confirmation letter and a confirmation number, so they're just not relying on a name. They're just not relying on someone saying, okay, you booked in. They actually get the official confirmation that they're booked. So let's have a look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and I'm just going to pick up this one here. See how, because there's this little pop-up that comes up for the guests as well. It says that the guests included are 2, maximum guests are 3, extra adult charges are 10 and 10, and the minimum stay for that particular day is 1 night. The rooms that are available are 2. Okay. Now I can go over to Book Now. Now that detail is set up in your rooms and rates, and I'll go back and show you that in a moment. So here you can see that all of my cancellation and amendment policies have come across to the booking conditions, like I said that they would. I've also got my arrival date and my departure date. I'm playing the guest at this point, so this is what the guest will see. This is my location, this is the property name, this is the room type. Now I also have a booking extra that's set up here, which is a bottle of Moe. So that's champagne. If I want that, I can just click that on, and it will add it to the total at the bottom of the page. So you can see that the booking extra is cleared. It will add it to the total. The deposit now is 50% of the total, which is 206, and the balance due on arrival is 103, which is the remainder of the fee. Any extras that are chargeable will add to your deposit required and also to your balance available. I'll remove that for just this one. it goes back to quoting and then it comes back up. Okay, now you'll see here my deposit is $75. That's 50% of the full cost, and I've got my payment methods set up there, which is just my two credit cards, Visa, MasterCard. If I had PayPal set up, then PayPal would be there. So the next thing we do is we just put in our details. So we'll just put in my details, Southport. Southport 4215, oops, sorry, Queensland 4215. Now the guests can either put in Queensland like that or they can write it all out. It doesn't matter, it doesn't affect anything, it just goes in the way that it's been inputted. Please choose what country, Australia, phone number, email address, okay. Do you have any dietary restrictions? This is actually a question that I've set up. So I've set up two. I've set up, do you have any dietary restrictions? And by clicking book now, you are agreeing to our terms and conditions. I can say yes, and I can say no. Okay. Now this is a mandatory fields. You can tell by the little red stars that are here. These are all mandatory fields. They must be filled out. So this question must be answered. This one doesn't have to be answered. Okay, so they can either put in gluten-free, or they can put in no, or they can just leave it blank. Now, any special requests, this section is always going to be there. We've put in including approximate arrival time. So if they can say to you, okay, I'm going to be there at 2, then you're prepared to see them at 2. Now if we go over to here, I now need to choose my credit card. I've seen all of the payment details. I'll click MasterCard and it's added merchant fees of $150. Now that is 2% of the 75 that I'm taking. If I go Visa, it's going to do 1.5 for me. Now it will automatically calculate that for you for only the deposit that you're taking at time of booking. So that's the reason why it helps to take some kind of money at the time of booking, because this will all be calculated for you. You just need to worry about the time of arrival to make sure that you calculate into what you're taking from the guest that credit card surcharge. So we'll go back to MasterCard. Actually, we'll go back to Visa because the Visa is the one I have, and put in my name as the card holder, the card number. This is a test card, so that's the reason why it looks a little odd, but it will let me go through the rest of the changes. We'll make that 220 and the CCV, make a booking. Now again, I don't know if you saw that, but I will highlight it in the recording. It does also give you another field where it says you have read our terms and conditions by booking book now. So even if you didn't want to set up that mandatory question, it does cover you at the bottom of that booking, that payment page. And here it is. So this is the booking, this is the confirmation number. The system will also send out an email to that email address with a proper confirmation letter, and this is basically all of the details. So the system at this point hasn't physically taken any money. If you'd selected an electronic gateway like Secure Pay, then before they get to this stage, they would have been sent to Secure Pay to do the payment. Here, you're still going to need to manually take that credit card, depending on how you do it, whether you've got a manual EFTPOS machine on the desk at check-in or whether you do it some other way. Okay, you could also, if you take bank transfers, it's easier for you to do that, then you could definitely at this point give the guest a call or send them an email and say the credit card was just for guarantee purposes only. We recommend that you put a certain amount, the deposit into this bank account, here it is. But these days, everyone's relying on credit cards more so now than ever, especially now that you can do a debit credit card. It will work exactly the same way. Okay, so you also get your booking conditions at the bottom here. And please note your credit card details have been securely forwarded and will be charged the amounts on the dates specified above. Okay, so my final due is 25th and deposit due is today. Now, all of that information goes into your payment gateway, and we'll go ahead and show you that. Okay, so let's go back. Just go back. Now, it will always show you what has been sent out to the guest. So the guest, that is exactly how the guest would see it, but you also will get the booking notification come to you as well. And if you do it exactly the way I just did it, through the sample, you'll actually get exactly what I just did. Okay, so you will get that come up because you're playing the guest. So now if we just go back another one, go back to reports here. There's my booking. Okay, if I click on this one here and then click on to display, hoping this is the right password. There's my credit card. Okay, now you'll notice that CCV is not here. It will be sent to you just like all of the other channels in a PDF. So a second email that will come through, you'll be able to access that PDF by using your property ID, which we went through before, and then you'll be able to get that. Because of PCI compliance, we're level 1, we cannot store the CCV with the credit card details and we cannot resend it. So if you don't get it, you'll need to contact the guest to receive it from them because we will not store it. These credit card details are available to you 7 days after checkout, and that's the original checkout. If they go ahead and change it, then you've only got 7 days from the original checkout. So we recommend you take payment when they're about to arrive. So when they check in, take payment to secure that you've got payment before you let them in the room. Okay, that's pretty much it. That password can also be changed. I'll just show you that really quickly. So if I go back in here, click to display, put in my password, read test 1. I can change password here, or I can send a quick email to our support team with forgot password and we'll send it back to you. And we usually send it through in a secure image instead of text. Okay. That's really it. So the booking questions that I used was in Marketing Tools here. This is my dietary restrictions. I've got it as a compulsory answer no, and I've got it as text. This book now, I've got it as a yes or no, and I've got that it's a compulsory answer. And I've attached it to these particular rate plans and these particular room types. So now, when you make a booking, you are fully in control of that booking. Any bookings that come through your website are fully controllable by you. So if we went back and searched for that booking again, you'll see that the status is confirmed. I can actually cancel that, or I can put it in pending if I still haven't received payment. It will come through as a confirmed booking, but I can easily cancel it like that. Okay, I can also then reconfirm it, and as long as I've got availability, it will confirm. I think we've gone through everything and we're really good on time. So thank you all for participating and paying attention. Like I said, this has been recorded, so as soon as it's edited, we will send you the links for email. Where to go for help? We'll just go back into the console and show you that. Your help is, your Twitter feed is over here, so if there's anything that we need to know or you've received awards or anything along those lines, let us know and we'll retweet it for you. But mostly it's just webinar advice, If there's any outages with channels, we'll usually put it on there. And any Tourism Australia or tourism industry general information, we'll definitely put it out there for you. If we have a new channel that's coming on board, we'll put it on Twitter as well, and it'll also be on our website. If you require help, there's a couple of different areas here. There's this little guy here, which is support. This will go into our ticketing system, so you can just enter your email address, the subject, and then put in your request, query type, whatever it is, and then send feedback, and that will go straight to our help desk as a ticket or an email, and we'll respond from there. We've also got sales inquiries over here, our online help documents, which is here. This will open up a new tab, and you'll see that all of our different sections, it's like an online manual. We were in here, and we were also in property details. Okay. All right, so that's where we were. You've also got our phone number and our fax if need be, but mostly it's email or telephone. We also have chat, so if you see the little panel down below here, that's our chat bar as well. So we've got guys, most of our team have the chat accessible to them, and sometimes if it's a quick question, it's usually easier to just put through a quick chat and we can get an answer to you quicker than email. Okay, it's completely up to you what you prefer in regards to support. If you want a copy of any of the previous webinars, just send me a quick email and I can definitely get those sent out to you, okay? That is it for me, so thank you so much for your attention, and we'll see you again next time.